Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be learning about, or reviewing, I should say, central idea and supporting evidence. Being able to determine the central idea of something that you're reading is really important, especially when we start to read nonfiction articles. Please fill out your notes as we go through this section. The central idea is the overall topic of a piece of writing or paragraph. Supporting evidence are the pieces of information that reinforce that central idea. So take a second here now and jot that down into your notes. It's important to remember that good readers ask themselves good questions. This is one of the ways you check to clarify that you're understanding what you've read. When you're identifying central idea, you need to ask yourself a few questions. This will help you determine the correct central idea. So you have to ask yourself, what is this passage mostly about? Try not to get confused by facts or tiny details that you think might seem interesting, but you really need to look at the passage or the article at a whole. What is the passage mostly about? Now, there are some things that will help you to determine what the passage is mostly about as you go. So if you look at subtitles for hints, oftentimes the subtitle of a section will give you a pretty good indication of what that passage is mostly about. Also, double check. If you can find 2 supporting details or 3 supporting details that reinforce your main idea, chances are you have found the central idea for the passage. Make sure that you copy all of this loveliness into your notes. And now for a little preview of what our practice is going to be about.
Since he was...
Oop, there we go.
What would an ultimate cat look like? Would it be bigger? Better? This is Sinbad, a captive-bred super cat. Not a lion or a tiger, but a liger. At 900 pounds, Sinbad is almost 100 times the size of a house cat, and twice the weight of a lion or tiger. Dr.
Yes, I know, that man does have a pretty awesome ponytail. We're going to be reading a brief paragraph about ligers. As we're doing this, we're going to be practicing our central idea skills. Yes, kids, ligers are real, not just mythical beasts. Oh, look at that cute baby liger. Okay, one of the tools that we're going to be using for practicing central idea is something called a central idea box. These boxes are designed to go into the margins of any article that you are reading to help you annotate, which means to mark up your text, with your ideas. When you make a central idea box, the central idea should go right up here at the top of the box, and it should be in the form of a sentence. Remember, the central idea is what the passage, paragraph, article is mostly about. Down here, you're going to dot jot 2 supporting details, word for word, from the article that reinforce your central idea. All right, let's try it. Okay, and here we go. Let's practice. We've got the passage right over here. I've got my empty box that I've made to the side of my passage, just like you would in the reading. Okay, ligers have a tiger-like striping pattern that is very faint and a lion-like tawny background. In addition, they may inherit rosettes from a lion parent. Lion cubs are rosetted, and some adults retain faint markings. These markings may be black, dark brown, or sandy. The background color may be correspondingly tawny, sandy, or golden. In common with tigers, their underparts are pale. The actual pattern and color depends on which subspecies the parents were and on how the genes interact in the offspring. Okay, so there's a lot of information there about ligers, but I'm noticing that it mostly seems to be about one specific thing about ligers. So now I need to write down my central idea. I need to keep in mind that my central idea must be a complete sentence, okay? Some ways that I could start this is, the central idea of this passage is, or this passage is mostly about. I've decided to go with the second one. So my central idea for this box is, this passage is mostly about the physical features of a Liger's coat. This answers the question, what is this passage mostly about? If I go back and I look at the passage, most of the information has to deal with what do Liger's coats look like, which is what you're going to be doing in a minute. Now, if I was filling this out in the margin, remember, the central idea actually goes right there. What goes right here, under supporting details, are going to be some supporting details, which is what you're going to be filling in now. I'm going to flip back to the next screen that has the passage on it. You're going to read through that passage again, and you're going to fill in with two supporting details that support our central idea that this passage is mostly about the physical features of a Liger's coat. All right, and now we are back to our passage. The central idea I have already filled in for you. You should have it up here. That the central idea of this passage is that it is mostly about a Liger's coat. Now you need to fill in with your supporting details, which are going to go right here and right here. 1 and 2. So before you're finished with this tutorial, you need to read this section and you need to fill in over here two supporting details from the passage that is off to the side. And then you will be done with your notes and you will be ready to start practicing central idea boxes, stop and jot on your own.